Hello everybody, this is Kira's show here. Now, whenever we last left off, Deku, Toru, Toga, and Momo were all trying to find their way into this temple. And, well, Deku had a couple of ideas. Somewhat beginning. Idea 1 is, well, Toga's quirk. Her body turns into somewhat of a goo whenever she starts to transform. So she could try transforming into Deku. And hoping that that works. Hopefully on the way down her body will be enough goo to where that whenever she hits the bottom, she could quite possibly just find a way out and get to the top. Even then, that plan has a lot of holes in it. They're not sure the exact layout, so, well, that plan right off the bat, it's quite possibly just stupid. But he does at least have another idea. Private security will be coming through at about 3 to 4 hours. So, in the meantime, Deku needs to think about this. They can make their move right as private security arrives. And one of the private team members will be taking his break in about 20 minutes. So, if we can get a little bit of blood from him, then things will be looking up. Deku's somewhat handing Toga a piece of tech. Basically saying that this little piece right here connected directly into anything. Technology. Do so and I can hack it. Basically, I can piggyback the signal from my phone directly towards it. Think about it as Bluetooth. Toga being confused. But at least listening. If he can think about this, then hell. It's gotta work, right? Momo actually intervening. Stating that she's guessing that she has to do with part of that plan. Basically saying that if they're going to get some blood from that team member, then they're going to need a bit of a needle. So, she has that covered. Actually beginning to create something. Before she can continue, however, the assassin would just tell her to stop. Being confused. Explaining that if she's going to get blood, then she needs to do it very, very easily, and in one swift move. Her being a bit confused. She doesn't need to kill this guy, does she? To which the assassin would just say, no. But you will need to do it really fast. Think about a mechanism, or at least something to rapidly suck out the blood. As if you were going to create a pressure washer, sucking air in and then just pulling out as much blood as needed. Just with a little prick. The assassin's somewhat beginning to draw in the sand, saying that he would leave them here alone with this, but this piece is very valuable. Even if it isn't here, the location may uncover something. So, this is going to be a challenge, but Momo would at least agree. She's not really sure why the Order is sending them after this piece at all, really. If it's such a high priority, why aren't they just coming here themselves? To which the assassin would just inform them. The higher-ups and most secretive of the Order, they seek to understand it. If they think that if they take their attention away from that door for one single second, it may open. That is the reason why they do not leave. But it does at least provide concern. You are more likely to get help from our creed. They seem to be more of a religious followers to that thing. So, that's just it. The man explaining. Their creed has sent him. They believe that he needs to take down a couple of targets. And their creed is on target with a different mission. So, it will benefit us both. Along with that, this man is believed to have another dangerous piece of Eden. Deku actually looking at this guy. Wait, he has a piece of Eden? Okay. Do you know what piece that would be? Sadly, I don't. However, some information I do know is that the guy still does like to use a bit of old-fashioned things. Knives and weapons. So it's not all bad. If you think about it, you can get lucky and the piece he has isn't all that good. Although, I don't think we're going to be that lucky. So, knowing our luck, we might be dealing with something bad. The man might have a piece of the trident. Deku being confused. The man just sighing and saying that the trident is one of the most powerful artifacts. Quite simply, a piece of it can control any one of your emotions. All three of them together could possibly even bring a section of humanity to their knees. Possibly even all of it. So, let's hope he doesn't have one. Now, they would be waiting. The researcher coming by. Momo has created this mechanism. It's a bit big and bulky, but she at least was able to create a bit of a box around it. So, this is what it looks like. It is disguised as a suitcase, or at least a small one, like a handbag. Now, the needle, she can quickly move it forwards and prick her. It is very, very small. And the suction that the pump inside provides will basically suck it all in at once. Very fast. Basically, if you were to bump into this person very hard, they probably might not even realize what happened. Only thing that they got a scrape. And that being it. Now, imagine it like being one of those air compressed tubes inside of a airsoft gun. Like one of those, basically pulling in oxygen. And another tube pulling out the blood and pushing it into a little container. So, that is how this is all lined up. Momo actually doing one thing. Walking more towards the area this researcher will need to go to for their break. And Deku actually pretending to be right in front of the researcher. Basically digging right where the researcher would pass. As soon as that happened, Deku can make a sound. Or at least a odd thing. He can act like he's digging something up, and as soon as he does so, he can immediately turn to Momo and scream. Or at least say something. Her running over. Now, this is how they would execute the plan. As soon as Momo runs over, she stabs the little needle into this person's side, and basically pulls out a bit of their blood. As she would apologize. The person telling them to watch out. But she understands. Discovering something might be a bit fun. The woman shaking it off. Momo actually running over to Deku. As these two would somewhat argue about what they found. Basically something Deku buried in the dirt. So, they've got it, handing the blood off to Toga, as they would follow the researcher, and knock her out. They don't have to kill her. She doesn't seem to be in bed with Abstergo. So, that'll be fine. And they would head inside. Well, Toga would, disguised as this woman. Whenever she walks in, they would quite simply just ask her for her ID. Her basically swiping her badge and doing the woman's job, heading more and more inside, along with actually heading towards looking at a map and seeing what's going on. There is a, well, terminal, as you can call it, nearby. The woman saying that she needs to check something, basically putting it off as something personal, and, well, it involves her family. Security guards would be annoyed, but they don't really care. They get paid for this. Staying around, yeah, that's fine. They just make sure she doesn't get killed or abducted. Doing a shitty job. Anyways. Now, Toga, she would pretend to type stuff in. Typing in a fake email and another fake thing. And, well, just plugging this piece in the computer. As Deku gets access. And he's connected to the network. Actually allowing Toga to log into a fake email that he created. And actually doing what she said she was going to do. Basically the guards watching until she logs out, leaving this piece stuck in the computer. Deku going through the system. Seems like they do map it and at least keep things on the computer, so this will be easy. Deku opening the front door. Them and this assassin ally walking in. Things will be a lot easier now, as they do so, heading in and heading downwards. Making their way down time and time again until they do meet up with Toga. Seeing her still being walked around by the security guards, until her quirk wears off, and the men would immediately begin to question her, along with hold her at gunpoint. Her actually sneezing and dropping one thing. They look at this little ball questioningly as it would begin blowing up. She dropped a smoke bomb, as Deku and these three would run in. Deku immediately tackling one of the guards and stabbing them in the chest. Actually going repeatedly. Momo running forwards and slamming one of them into the wall. Taking one of their guns. And getting things ready. She doesn't need to use a firearm here, so she would at least punch him across his face, trying to knock him out, while the other assassin would begin stabbing into the other two, and taking them all out. Momo is still having trouble. Her guy is just getting back up again. And she is forced to use her hidden blade, actually stabbing it upwards into his neck, as she watches him die. Now, with that, she is still a bit disturbed by it. Yeah, murdering just to murder. Yeah, she's glad she's not that type of person. Anyways, as they would all stand up and walk away. They're gonna know that security has been breached anyways, so they just need to continue. They would eventually make their way downwards to the parts of the structure that Abstergo may not have found yet. Actually finding that things are still old and rickety. So, they will continue onwards, jumping through and actually staying out of the areas that these people are at. Staying up high or going low. Basically, keeping out of sight. Well, people do at least know that assassins are around. And in this old place. As they would continue on, Deku actually stopping for a second. Looking down. He hears that same ear-piercing sound that he heard at the door. back in his hometown. So, exactly what is going on? As he sees a man walk out. He's wearing a robe. Clearly, he's a Templar. So, why the fuck don't they just stick to wearing suits? It's a better indicator than that old stuff. Well then, I don't really care. What do you have on you? Deku paying attention. The assassin getting ready. He wants to jump down and take this man out now. Deku just bringing his hand up, telling him that if he kills his target now, he'll be surrounded. So, if you're gonna do that, then you're gonna expose all of us. But I can at least tell you that he has his piece of Eden, like you said. But hey, we still have to go get that one. The con whatever. Before they get it. Now, they would be heading deeper. Along with them having to somewhat solve a bit of a ancient puzzle left. Whatever assassin left this, clearly they knew Templars would be after it. So, it is hidden. As they are looking around. This puzzle involves hidden blades. And you need to stab them into the wall and actually be ready. Now, Deku, he would stab his blade into the wall, as the other assassin basically does the same, instructing them on how to do this. Now, whenever that happens, this is whenever a large block would start falling on them. As soon as that happens, everyone would go to dodge it, and find that it's too big, them all actually holding it up. Now, this is whenever the wall that they were focusing on drops, and revealing a lever. The man getting ready. He wants to run for it. But hey, if he leaves these three behind, then whatever their mission was, it's gonna fuck up. Now, the man, he would just ask what they're gonna do. Deku, somewhat having an idea, or at least trying to form one in his head. Working under pressure isn't something he's very good at. Especially whenever it involves the lives of everyone he knows in the room. Hell, if they keep this up, then they're gonna die. Actually looking to Toru and Momo, asking which one of those two are stronger. As Tohoga would just say that she's pretty sure she's stronger. Momo actually not really fighting it, asking what is she gonna do. Deku just stating that she needs to go over to that wall and smash onto that switch. If she does, then it will probably stop this thing. Her running over and doing so. Smashing down on it and seeing what happens. The thing isn't stopping, in fact it's putting down more pressure. So, she would turn to look at it. There is a symbol of a skull. And she would bring her hand forward and pull it outwards. As it would stop this mechanism crushing them. And she would watch the skull move around and form upside down. So, was that it? Was that all they had to do? Not really. This is whenever the wall would open up more, revealing that they've found the secret part of the temple, or what may have been buried. So, they would continue through, and head deeper. As they would continue on, finding that they may be a bit too late. The Templars, they're looking at this strange thing. It is just, well, embedded in the wall, showing a bit of a mural around it. It shows the stone and power around it, along with it burning and scorching men, and knocking people away. along with what seems to be an illusion, or quite possibly summoning the power of the storms. So, whatever this piece can do, it's clearly amazing and strong, as there's also a bit of a map on the wall. This seems to be tricky, but clearly this map is indicating all the pieces of Eden, where they were at these times. So, that's amazing. Deku actually hearing the Templars talk about this, and trying to talk about a way to get this thing out of the wall. Now, the archaeologists are basically telling them that if they remove that piece, then they'll take the entire place down. This piece was already somewhat moved and shifted due to the way the Earth has been moving, and earthquakes in this area. But if you can't get it out completely, the rest of this place will come crashing down. We don't know what we can uncover from here. If you just take this piece now, then it'll be a loss in everything. Possibly even millions of years of research. Decades above anything I've ever heard of. Now, the Templars wouldn't really care. One of them actually bringing a hand up to this man, telling him that he's at least done well, and he will be remembered. As the man would just bring a gun up and shoot him across the face. Or shoot him in the head, killing him. Telling his friends to at least get ready to run. When they take this piece, they'll be one step closer to finding them all. And things will be a bit simpler. No longer will it take decades of uncoding to do so. Now, this is whenever Deku would make his move. Actually jumping down, and kicking one of these men across the face. Momo and Toga doing the same. As his assassin would get ready, jumping down and going for his target. Now, the man with this piece of Eden would get ready, actually drawing a blade. The man being a bit confused, as the man would immediately begin to shoot it at him. A large bolt of electricity. Deku actually being in shock, as he did not expect that. That's a piece of Eden? Now, the power this sword possesses is quite, well, intense. As the man would just begin, congratulating his assassin, saying that he knew that one of them was there, but 4, that is quite tricky. But you do not understand. We've already won. Not only do I have a piece of Eden already, but we have another. And things aren't going to be as simple. The man actually getting ready, throwing a shockwave out, sending all of them flying. Deku smashing into the wall. As the man begins to run around the room and get close to his target, distracting him. He tries to hide behind old pillars, and the man would just get annoyed. He does see Deku. Deku seems to be knocked out from the shockwave. So, 3 left. That's perfect. Now, Deku, he's not actually unconscious. He wants to see exactly what this piece can do before he attacks, along with the sound it makes. He can somewhat understand it. It's weird and distorted, yes, but there's something there. Code. Now, Deku would begin hacking, as one of his eyes began to bleed. Thinking, if he can uncover this Eden tech, then he'll at least give it a shot. The man actually blasting electricity at this guy, and the guy just having to dodge from cover to cover. The guy is basically bringing down the room. Toru and Toga are trying to think about this. As Toga begins to try and run out, the man immediately throwing his sword at her direction and firing another blast. Her getting down. He would just go on stating that his piece is quite unique. Not only can my sword do what most of the apples can do, I can also focus that power into one single strike. And I know exactly where all of you are. Your friend there is passed out. Now, you two are currently wondering, or at least hiding close to each other, within 5 meters. Now, the two would look at each other, realizing that this man, he is serious. So, they need to get serious too. Momo actually creating a shield, and handing one to Toga. The two getting ready. The man, he is confused. Suddenly the room, or at least whatever these girls are doing, there is more of something, as these two would run out. The man blasting lightning directly at one of these shields. Momo feeling the full force of this and getting flown against the wall, smashing into the ground. The man walking over and getting ready, bringing the sword upwards, and saying that this will be quite simple, as the other assassin would run out and tackle the man to the ground, getting ready. These two being in a struggle, the man kicking his assassin off of him and immediately going for his sword. As he gets to it, and the assassin would at least stab into his leg, the man grabbing it and spinning it around, getting ready for a powerful blast. His sword would spark up with lightning as it doesn't fire. The man is confused. That can't be possible. This tech can't break. Well, that would probably be me. Deku raising his head, smirking, one of his eyes bleeding. The man getting pissed off, not understanding what Deku did as he stands up, saying that it's hard, but with my focus, you can't use that. Ah, tried to use that to my advantage, but that did not work. Anyways, Deku actually stating that as long as he is standing, that means that he can't use that sword. So, the man not caring, trying to swing it across this guy's face. It may not be as powerful, but it's still a sword. The guy bringing his hand up and actually using a blade, his hidden blade, to block it, and sliding the sword to his right, trying to at least dodge away from him and stay out of the man's way. Deku, he begins to cough a bit of blood. The mental strain on his body and the physical toll is getting worse. Apparently, understanding this tech a bit is difficult. So, let's even the odds. Deku turning around and taking this piece, as the assassin would stare directly at Deku and be in shock. Deku ripping the piece out of the wall, the other man being confused and concerned. Deku turning around, as a weird map would form above Deku. Everyone's seeing it. Deku is still holding onto this piece, completely in shock. He can see them. He can feel them. That's amazing. Now, the entire place itself began to shake. Deku's concentration, it is broken. The man actually turning his attention to Deku, firing the sword outwards. Deku actually bringing his hand up, with a stone. The stone reacting to Deku, firing its own blast. The man being in shock, as the two would basically collide. They are having a battle, or at least a struggle, on which piece may be more powerful. Deku is at least ready, so this will provide something that seems to be, well, very, very well hidden. A battle between pieces. Something that may not have ever occurred before. Now, Momo and Toga, they're just watching this. The other assassin getting ready. Running forwards as he would be blown backwards just by the, shockwave alone. Deku's eye is actually coursing with power, as he just keeps holding it outwards. The man taking a step forwards. Deku trying to throw his own shockwave at the man. The man being able to stay up. Basically explaining. They wield two of the most powerful artifacts ever created on Earth. So, one of them has to die. Sorry to tell you, kid, but your piece isn't made for combat. The man trying to throw out his sword more, and release more power. Overpowering Deku for a minute as Deku would just throw out fire. The man being in shock. And Deku would hear a voice. The piece is talking to him. But what's going on? As a hand will wrap around Deku's. Deku being confused, he just looks around, looking to his right, to see a strange woman. Who is she? Her basically just telling Deku that that's not important right now. What is important right now is that you protect that piece. You seem to be good of hearts, or have good intentions. So, you are at least not as corrupt as I thought. At least better than that man. Deku just looking at the man. The man is still getting closer. These two are basically right up in each other's faces. By the time she's done talking. Deku and the man getting ready. Deku deciding that he needs to end this now. Letting out one large burst. The man plunging his sword forwards and trying to stab into Deku. As the man would stab into the stone. And it would break and shatter. As soon as it shatters, a large explosion is heard throughout the room. And Deku gets smashed into the wall. And he's very confused at what the hell just happened. Getting back up to see that the blade this man was carrying was snapped into two pieces, along with him being flown across the room also. Along with that, Deku, he's bleeding a lot. And there's holes in his skin. As he gets up, the entirety of the shockwave was completely directed at Deku, so there's a bit of trouble. The other assassin walking over to his opponent. Seeing that he's dead. His brain is completely fried. There's no response from hearing or seeing. So, that's at least good. Toru and Toga actually helping Deku. He's bleeding out of his gut, his arms, his face, and, they even think that he may have hit something in his neck. As Deku would have told them to do one thing. At least grab that sword. Deku actually holding it while they carry him out, somewhat staying conscious. They would have gotten out of the temple, as the entire thing would come tumbling to the ground, and caving in. The assassin asking exactly what was the artifact they were supposed to take. After he hears its name, the Ko-Inar. The assassin would have been in shock, along with actually disappointed. This piece is integral. Now it's destroyed and gone. Damn it. If he had stepped up, then this would not have happened. But I cannot be disappointed in myself now. I was only here for my mission. I'm very sorry about yours. But you will always be welcome in my creed anytime. Just please, send a phone call first. I'm guessing being around you guys will be a bit tricky. The man, looking back at the temple, realized that this was a bad first impression. So, yeah, this needs to be redone. But he would have been more concerned about Deku, as he's actually passed out, along with some of the bleeding getting more intense. Now, they would have put Deku in the backseat of a car, and taken him back to their hideout, immediately pulling him in. Everyone being shocked to see a man covered in wounds and scars, basically being carried across the entire, complex and taken to their doctor. The doctor patching Deku up and actually telling him to basically stay off his feet and to take these antibiotics. And he's lucky that she's an actual doctor. Deku's saying that he has his own doctor. Besides, I'm pretty sure that Deku actually getting a headache as he looks up, saying that his own doctor will be perfectly fine. But he's at least happy for the advice. Her handing Deku painkillers, as they would head back to the hotel room. Deku actually a bit, confused on how he's supposed to report this. They were supposed to give a report after their mission. And, the earthquake that registered in the city, clearly an indicator that they are done. As Deku would be home, or at least back at his hotel room, not home, and be ready. As soon as he calls the Creed, they would have picked up. Deku actually sitting down on his bed. The other two somewhat standing, as he holds up his phone and turns on speaker, saying that they have a report. The Creed being ready to hear it, saying to begin. Deku explaining what happened. They met up with the Brotherhood in this town. They've been a good ally. They also did have to do a joint operation with this member, giving the man's name. Them writing it down, then telling him to continue. Deku saying that they were able to at least stop the Templars from getting the Koh-i-Noor. The Koh-i-Noor. But there was a bit of a cost. The assassins staying quiet. These elder members, they were heard on the call earlier, and they would have actually spoken up, asking exactly what cost was that. Deku explaining that they've encountered 2 pieces of Eden in one single day. The assassins actually being in shock, realizing that this means that they've gotten something else, right? Deku somewhat saying that they do, but it's just not. Momo speaking up, saying that it's not completely together, but if it wasn't for Midoriya, then we would not have gotten it before we escaped. In fact, we were more focused on his injuries. The assassins going over what they mean. His injuries. So, this piece was a combat piece, correct? Yes, it was. But as they would cut her off, asking if Deku can finish his reports. So, the Koh-i-Noor, what happened to it? Deku explaining that this guy had the Sword of Eden. Everyone on that side of the call actually speaking up, and asking if that means they retrieved that piece at least. Deku explaining that they did, but it's broken. The members of the Creed completely in shock and enraged. How is it that on their first mission, not only did they destroy an Eden weapon, let alone an artifact that's so ancient, it's older than humanity, and completely destroy their only traces in finding any other piece of Eden? Now, the assassins are going stating that they need to let them go. But the piece that Deku recovered, that at least brings the Templar pieces out of their hands, so they will come back to the city and be debriefed. They understand? Deku explaining that the struggle he had, it was a bit different, but they were right about the Koniar. It can track down pieces. The other members actually somewhat going back on their decision for a second. One of them actually speaking up, asking exactly what does Deku mean. Deku explaining that one piece that he saw, it was on the wall. Now, what I mean by that is, there was an ancient map there about where the pieces were hidden around the worlds. At least, yeah, I think it was. They thought the world was flat, but it was at least hidden there. It's somewhere, I believe, in Costa Rica. The assassin's actually at least noting this down, asking how he knows that, if the piece is still there. Deku explaining that he looked for anything he could see that would help them. That piece hasn't moved in a single inch, or at least not out of the area. It's still there. Please, just understand. The other members actually saying that at least helps them. But if they can list down the rest of the locations, then they might overlook this little accident. But they are at least going to be talked to and given more training. Deku actually explaining that he saw someone too. There was a woman with him. Whenever he had the piece and, well, fought against the Templar, he saw someone. Someone who wasn't human. He's guessing that they're, well, members of the first civilization. Not just that. The way the Coney R was broken, as Deku would be cut off. They thought they lost the Coney R. It was broken? Oh god. That doesn't really make a difference now. As Deku would just say. The Coney R, it's gone. But they have the leads on 10, possibly even 20 different pieces. Possibly even something about the tridents. Them being silent. Asking if there were any pieces underwater. Deku somewhat smirking. He holds all the cards right now. There were possibly 5 locations underwater, but at least close by, sea areas. Deku at least saying that there's more than 2. But he believes the exact number is at least higher. Them somewhat being ready. Telling him that he will at least be briefed on it, and look at a map when he gets back. Deku actually somewhat smirking. He knows that they won't let them go now. But he has to take a rest after this. The assassin's actually hanging up the call. Deku taking a deep breath and a sigh, as the other two would do the same. That was very close. Yeah, not sure they're ready to know that. I'm not bluffing. What do you mean? There were a couple pieces underwater. When I said more than 2, I meant 5. I wasn't lying, but they probably think I am. You weren't? No, I was honest. Just think about it though. If we can find or at least possibly get on another mission like this, then it can make up for it. I can also tell them what I learned from the Eden Tech, that I also shut it off. Or disrupted it. Yeah, are you okay after that? Momo actually moving forwards. Toga raising an eyebrow. Okay, this just got a whole lot more interesting. Her actually just getting up and walking away, saying that she needs to do something really quick. Deku saying that he'll be fine. Oh, it's just that he thinks he got hit with something. Probably shards from the blade, or at least electrocuted. But he just needs to go to bed. As the other two would leave, Toga's somewhat teasing Momo about this. Does she have a crush on Deku? Momo actually getting a bit flustered, saying that she just cares is all. Deku actually going to sleep. But things would be a bit weird. Around 2 to 3 in the morning, Deku would somewhat have a bit of a nightmare. The same one he had of his parents. However, things are different. The sky is glowing weird and things are not how they're supposed to be. The neighborhood's different and anything that's the same as his house. His parents would walk out and the house would explode. That usually being where the dream ends. But Deku would turn around. As there would be Juno. Deku just looking up at her. Her looking down at him. Just saying that it's quite surprising. This is not a turn of events she foresaw, let alone thought would ever happen. Deku being confused, asking what's going on, and why is he still dreaming? Her just explaining that she is talking to him, and she wanted to see what he was like. Clearly, mortal men have not changed. Deku being confused, asking what she means. Her basically explaining that she is Juno. She was part of the first civilization. She is quite simply what you can call one of your gods. Deku actually smirking for a second and laughing a little. You have to try a lot harder than that, lady. Her actually being a bit surprised. Deku sounds calm, but clearly that was bravado, saying that he cannot hide his fear. But clearly, you do not understand why I'm still here. Yeah, I saw you earlier. So exactly what's going on? Well, you grabbed hold of one simple thing. The little crystal, or whatever you want to call it, the diamond. That was quite simply astonishing. Not just that, two pieces breaking in the same day, let alone at the same time. Astonishing. Something she's never even seen happen. So, clearly, Eden can kill Eden. But, that's not why she's here. Yeah, you didn't explain that. Now, while this is going on, in real time, or real life, Deku's quirk is going haywire, along with his body actually glowing blue. As Momo and Toga are trying to get into Deku's room. At odd times, the entire, building will short out. Deku basically turning everything in the area around him on and off again. Basically, there's being seen as a power surge, and things going haywire. As whenever the lights go out this time, they're able to smash into Deku's room, since the electronic lock would be disabled. And the way they smashed into it was a bit of brute force. As soon as it turned off, they smashed into the door, so as the door alarm would not be set off. So, they would run in and see Deku, glowing blue. Momo running over to try and help, while Toga is somewhat in shock, and surprised. Meanwhile, back at Deku, he's just asking exactly what does that mean? Why is he special then? Her explaining. Whenever the two pieces broke, the man, he got killed by his. One of the shards that he was attacked with struck his heart, along with sending a pulse through it. Meanwhile, with you were basically hit with multiple pieces. And the way you were holding it, you had your arm sprawled out across your other one, holding your bicep and trying to force as much power out. You blocked your heart and absorbed most of the shards. Most of the. Wait, does that mean I still have those things in me? That explains. Oh shit. Well, child, I believe oh shit would be the right term. For you see, you have Eden in your body now. It has very well become a part of you, along with your little. What do you call them? Quirks? Interesting little things. Some of them would have been quite useful back then. Her somewhat just looking away from Deku, saying that his quirk is allowing him to somewhat interface with her. She's basically talking to him through his dream, the unconscious part of his mind. However, as Deku finally gets shaken awake, and is completely confused, throwing up his right hand and trying to at least turn off everything, sending a large blast of electricity throughout the entire room. As he basically fries, well, the glass door next to him, breaking it and actually destroying some of the metal outside. Now, Deku, he would just quite simply tell them that they need to leave now. Momo trying to get an explanation. Deku running over and packing up his things, saying that he can explain in the car. As the phone for the Creed would begin to ring. They want to know what is going on. Clearly, things are bad. Deku would just pick up the phone, saying that he can inform them later, but right now is not a good time, hanging it up immediately. As he instructs the other two to just hurry. Them actually doing so, running back to their rooms and packing things up. Eventually heading to the parking garage, where Deku would just drive out like a bat out of hell. Them being confused. Deku needs to slow down, otherwise he's going to get pulled over by a cop. Momo basically trying to calm down Deku, along with Toga actually trying to at least get an explanation. How does he have this power now? What is it? And, well, can he try it out again? Deku, someone just screaming, saying that he doesn't know and he's never had this before. Somewhat freaking out, still. As Momo's phone go off this time. And Deku can hear it. Actually calming down for a second. And staying quiet, as he just focuses on driving. Momo picking it up and putting on speaker. They want to know what's going on with the incident at the hotel. It seemed to have been the center point for all of this. And they would like an explanation. Momo just saying that they're trying to figure that all out now, but they're heading back early. As one of the other people would just say that, Midoriya, does that mean that this event was caused by you? Yes, but I'm not sure how to explain it. Explain it? You almost blew your cover. Let alone people are going to think, what is going on? Weird events at a hotel within the span of a day. That is not normal. Clearly, people are going to start investigating this. So, give us that explanation. Okay. So, contact the doctor at this other Creed's. She treated me for injuries. She thought they were just surface level, but they're not. What do you mean? Okay, I accidentally destroyed the Coney R. What? Yes, but I'm not sure how to explain it. Along with that, we at least did recover another Eden weapon. It is also destroyed. The two were destroyed fighting each other. The man, he is dead, due to the fact that shards are in his body of his weapon, and they punctured his heart. The Creed being confused, asking if that means that the Coney R is stuck in shards of the Coney R are in Deku's body. Deku saying yes, and he has a question. Do they have any recollection of a woman named Juno? Them all being quiet. Things are a bit more complicated now. Apparently, Deku is the weapon now, and the artifacts. So, they cannot afford to get rid of him now. So, things are tricky. As they would continue driving, Deku's still a bit shaken up by this. Now, that is going to be where we leave things off of, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next parts.